Hello, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter, your Las Vegas Raiders beat writer on SI and the host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. Great to be with you today. Of course, I have my better half, Shannon, with me. Remember, if you have a question that you would like us to answer, send us an email, Spartan Nation Mail, MAIL at yahoo.com. Put in the subject line, Raiders Q&A. We would love to hear from you. Now, remember, keep your emails short. If they're too long, they don't get read. And if they're not too long, but long, they'll get edited by one of our staff members. And just because that's the way it is. But one email a week per email address. If you do more than that, you get zinged. And then I found out this week because someone said to me, Hondo, how do I get unzung? And I'm like, what? And they're like, I got an email that you've emailed more than once from this address, and your email has been marked spam. That's an automatic. It just happens if you email too much. So one email a week. Can you imagine if I limited you to one text a week? Anyways, one email a week.
Wait a minute, you're just as bad as me.
Shh.
Mine are just not long. Mine are long. Yours are short, but
I send you like yes, no.
No, you send. I love you. I miss you.
ILU.
You do that too.
ILUs. I say, but anyways, one email a week. Unless you're my wife. But anyways, get that to us. We'd love to hear from you. All right, Shannon, we got a lot. I was told we had a lot. We haven't looked at them, haven't read them. Now remember, Shannon sometimes when we'll mispronounce a word, then people will be nasty in the comments, and it's because you people spell it wrong, and we don't pre-read them. So
maybe I need to.
No, I think that takes it away. I don't want us to know. I guess maybe you could pre-read them, but I don't want to because I want to be.
Sometimes I read ahead one.
All right. Here we go. Let's get started. These people don't want to hear us interact.
All right. Uncle Hondo and Aunt Shannon, how do you decide what questions to answer if you don't read them beforehand? Andy G. That should have made it to the not a football question.
Andy G. Okay, so here's what happens. All the email comes in, and I have a staff member because we get so much email that reads my email. I cannot, I literally cannot answer it all. It's just too much. And so what happens is they take all of the questions and then they look for themes. So is there 50 emails about the passing game or 50 emails about Gino?
I was literally just going to say.
Okay. And then they do any of them cut? Do they fit? Because you can have 20 different ones about Gino, but do it. And then the questions that get asked the most get to the front of the line. Then they'll look for ones that are really well written or uniquely written. And if there's several, then they'll just usually pick the first one that comes in. We never look for a person. I mean, if somebody sends one in and you're dropping F-bombs on me and you're just a fool, it just literally goes to spam. Then we never see your emails again. In fact, I had a guy stop me in Lot J this last week who said to me, I was really a jerk to you earlier in the year and I'm sorry. And he goes, I'm sorry about my emails. And he goes, I admit I was drunk and F-bombing you or whatever. And I thought, well, I don't see them because once you F-bomb me, you go right to spam and I never see your emails again. But, that kind of stuff. If you disagree with me, that's great. We have no problem with that. I'm not God and don't think I am. And so, but that's how they get selected. And if they're just too long, they automatically get deleted because we don't have time to sit there. And then if somebody email, like a lot of people just email in comments.
Sometimes some of the comments will go through, but not a lot.
Not very often. So that's how the whole process goes. And we try to do it as efficiently and best that we can. And so there you go. All right. What's next, sweetie?
Hondo, I know that you say you wouldn't fire Pete, but you also say you think barring Mark Davis saying he stays, that he is out. So ask your advice after firing Pete on how to fix the team. What would you do? PM, Fair Oaks, California.
PM?
Pete M.
Pete M. in Fair Oaks, California. Never heard of that. Okay. So let me say a couple of things to you. I would not fire Pete, but if I understand the question correctly, if Mark does and then asked my advice, what would I do? All right, this is probably going to make some headlines. All right. The next thing I would do if I was Mark and I decided to move on from Pete. Now, remember, there are things that I know I've not yet been able to share. And if they fire Pete, I'm going to do a deep dive article. And you know what I'm going to share about where it went wrong with Pete. And it's not Pete's fault. But if they moved on from Pete and Mark said, what would you do? Here's exactly what I would do. I would look Tom Brady in the eyes and say, do you want to run this team? If he says, yes, I do, then great, get your butt in the building. And I can tell you, there are people in the building that feel that way. And you know, and not insignificant people in the building. And if Tom says, no, I'm not willing to give up the Fox gig and be in the building every day, then okay, you're a minority partner. We'll be glad to take advice from time to time, but you're not going to have the say that you have. And then you know what I do next? I make a phone call to John Gruden. Say, Gru, screw the NFL. I don't care. Come back, be the head coach. Now, where Gruden failed, and I have been, and I maintain this. I like you let the general manager pick the coach. But you went with an inexperienced general manager. He'd never been a general manager before, and he's Tom's guy. Okay, I wouldn't fire John Spytek. I don't think John's done anything worthy of getting fired. John has bosses. And do I like everything that John Spytek's done? I don't like everything that John, I don't like everything the people who've made John Spytek do things has done. And there's some things I don't like. But I don't dislike him. I don't disrespect him. You know that. She hears my private conversations with people. Have you ever heard me disrespect John? No, I believe in John. There's been some things that John's done I don't like. But I would say to John, all right, John, if I'm Mark Davis, Gruden's coming in. He's determining the direction. But I want you to be the GM. I want you to have a loud voice. I want you, because John sometimes will make picks, Damon Arnett, that are based on emotion. And so you guys got to work out that dynamic. But John, first of all, that instantly gives the mentality of the Raiders of what they used to be. Screw the NFL. You want to screw us? Great. Great. Gruden's back. What an Al Davis thing for Mark Davis to do. Okay? Secondly, John, you're not fired, but you're going to have a loud voice. And Gru, I love you, but he's not going to let you make a Damon Arnett mistake again. Gru, you're going to have Gru, you can make the picks on free agents. When it comes to draft, John, if you and Gru disagree, you guys got to work it out. And I would have them work it out. But you let John Gruden set the true north. Remember, when he got fired, they were winning. Gruden, they're going to probably end up going with either a young offensive coordinator or Robert Saleh. I'm going to say it right now. They're either going to go with an offensive coordinator or Robert Saleh. Because if you're going to go get another experienced coach and let him run it, you should keep Pete.
Exactly.
But if you're not going to, can you imagine if Gruden came back? That's basically Mark Davis giving Roger Goodell the middle finger and the NFL. Oh my God, is there a more Raider thing? Can you imagine the volcanic eruption with it? I mean, listen, this lady doesn't want Pete fired because she knows what I know. but you would literally tap dance all around Las Vegas if they rehired Gru.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
My wife would be the president. She is the president of the John Gruden fan club. And that would be, and he would walk back here. I'm not kidding. I think Gru would coach here for $1 a year.
Wow.
I'm that is to me the only, if you're firing Pete, Gru's a guy.
I'd be happy.
I mean, it's the ultimate Raider thing. It unites most of Raider Nation, and then he gets to go pick the quarterback he wants. Can you imagine if Gru came back and said to Derek Carr, Derek, are you healthy? Yeah, I think I am. All right, you want a quarterback for 1 year just to groom this guy or be our quarterback coach?
Oh, he'd do it.
I
think there'd be some Raider fans that'd be happy too.
Yeah, but anyways, I'm just saying, to me, if you're going to make this decision for the reasons that I know, it starts with Brady. Do you want to run it? No. All right, out. Not out as an owner, but you just don't have a voice. And oh, by the way, John, ring ring. Hey, what's up, Mark? You want back? Bingo! Oh, I would be excited about that. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine the owners' meetings when Mark Davis comes strutting in with the rest of the NFL? Yeah, I hired Gru. What you gonna do about it? Oh yeah, the guy in the middle is suing you. I mean, Mark Davis. Can you imagine? Oh, I would love it.
Fun to watch.
But you would have to be very, very specific. You'd have to take care of the Tom incident stuff first.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because that dog wouldn't hunt. All right, let's go. Next one.
Dear Hondo, with Pete Carroll being on the hot seat, I was wondering, my first inclination would be Patrick Graham, someone who has been in the building numerous years now, and that has also built up high amounts of rapport and respect from the players in the locker room. Though in one of your most recent podcasts, you did mention you have some information that if they hire somebody new, that it would be a first-time offensive-minded coach.
Or Robert Saleh.
If so, please expand as much as you can why they have this mindset. From Manuel in Colorado.
Well, a couple of things. I all right, let me say a couple of things. Not counting Gruden, I can think of one high profile coach that they would maybe hire, maybe, who's a current coach, but I don't think they would be able to get him away from his team. Okay. They may have to trade a draft pick. So maybe they say we won't trade a draft pick, a first rounder in 06 or 26 or 27, but we'll give you our 28 first rounder. I could see them maybe getting this coach. I'm not, remind me to tell you, I'll tell you off air who it is. But I just don't think his team would let him go. But they might for a one if he went to him and said, I'm going to retire if you don't let me go. So other than that, I think that Robert Saleh is a defensive guy who would probably give Tom a big voice in picking the next offensive guy. And he's a guy that Robert Saleh is a good defensive mind, and he's a good coach, and who had a bad experience with the Jets. So he may want an opportunity to try again because he feels like I'm damaged goods. But other than that, I think they go with an offensive mind that Tom liked, like they wanted with Ben Johnson, because a young coach is going to let the leadership have more of a voice. I think if the Pete experiment does end up getting Pete fired, I think what coach, unless you're just desperate for a job, wants to come here who's an experienced coach if he knows he's not going to be able to lead? So there you go.
No, in the track record.
And they're going to want an offensive track record. They're going to want somebody with an offensive mind because you're going to have a young quarterback. It's the same reason that Patrick Graham didn't get the Jags job. I mean, they were literally in negotiations to finish the deal with Patrick Graham, and Liam Combs called and said, okay, I'm ready to come. You fired your general manager. And they're like, gee, sorry, but we have $250 million quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. We got to go that direction. That made sense. Now, if I'm going to pick, so that's number one. Number two, if you're going to have a first round draft pick, you have to develop. You want an offensive minded coach, unless you go with a Saleh where you get to pick the offensive coordinator. And then, but the other thing is Patrick Graham. Two things. Number one, Patrick Graham is a guy I like a lot, consider him a friend. I think that's fair. And I wouldn't wish this job on him. Number one, I don't think the organization's been good to Patrick Graham for a while. Number one. Number two, I don't think Patrick Graham would be put in a position to win. And if now he may say, you know what, I don't know that I'm going to get another shot, but I think he would be better served to go somewhere else as a defensive coordinator, get with a winning. I mean, if Steve Spagnuolo got a job somewhere, and I know that Raider fan would hate this, or if another winning organization called and said, if Dan Campbell said, hey, we're losing another defensive coordinator, do you want to come to Detroit? Yes, because he has a proven track record of his coordinators. I mean, I don't, and second of all, I don't think this is a place where you should go hire a first-time coach. This is a difficult job. Raider Nation has a lot of high demands and should. Does that mean a first-time guy couldn't come in here and succeed? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It just means you have a high failure rate with first-time coaches. So go try to find somebody who's already learned some lessons. This is an iconic franchise. The Raiders are not the bridesmaid. They're the bride. You're the bride. Act like it. Think like it. Operate like it. Walk in the room like it. Could you picture Mark Davis walking into the end of season owners meetings, strutting in there like Mr. McMahon from the WWE, walking in? Yeah, I hired the guy that's suing y'all. How's that working, Raj? Raj! Hey, Raj! That's Hawaiian for peace. Isn't that what it means? I think I just learned that. I know the Texas fans say it took them horns, but or maybe it's that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Can you imagine? Raj! NFL owners! How you doing? I am my dad's kid. Oh, man, that'd be just beautiful. Oh, I would love to cover that. I would love to have Gru back if they didn't keep Pete. All right, let's keep going.
Hondo, recently in a podcast, you said you wished the person who kept Caleb Rogers out would take accountability for it. I caught that. Do you think they will? Elliot Boston, from Boston.
We'll see. We'll see. Next.
Hondo, to me, the dysfunction of the team falls squarely on the shoulders of Mark Davis. He either needs to be the leader to create the vision, or hire and task someone with this responsibility. During the offseason, you mentioned Tom Brady was going to lead the charge and leave no stone unturned. Is the issue he just has one foot in and one foot out, or is he not the person Mark has tasked with this responsibility? If not, who is this person, and why can't Mark see what we all can and demand unity and a clear vision? Tanner Wade.
That is a good one. So let me say this. Both people in the building now, going all the way back to Ziegler and McDaniels, and everyone in between, has been very vocal throughout every step of the regime that Mark's voice is enormous. I mean, Tom's voice is enormous. Shannon has been with me when people who were in the highest levels of leadership on this team said everything gets run by Tom. And I've been told by people in the building now. You know, everyone's wondering, what's Tom going to think about this? Now, that may be totally unfair. Maybe that's not fair to Tom. That's what the what many people, that's what everybody in charge has felt, or nearly everybody. There's one person I haven't talked to, but nearly everybody felt prior.
Right.
And several in the building now feel like. So maybe it's unfair. Now, if they fire Pete, I'm going to do a deep dive article and share more about Ziegler and McDaniels than what I've shared previously, because I'm going to try to paint the picture of where the organization is. I want to tell you right now, I would tell you if I thought this, I don't think Mark Davis is a problem. The man is willing to do what good owners do, which is stay out of the way and pay any amount of money. You talk to people around the NFL, and they respect that about him.
Right.
The problem is there's been some duplicity in this. So you may remember when I reported about Dave Ziegler should have fired Josh McDaniels, but he didn't think he had the authority to. And Mark Davis was interviewed by Tashawn Reed, my buddy, used to be with The Athletic. And he said that Dave did have the authority, whether he knew it or not. Mark did not disagree with my reporting. He just said, and I'm not quoting, I'm paraphrasing, but basically, if Dave didn't know he should have had the authority, he did. Well, I'm going to go into more details there. If they fire Pete. And I'm going to tell you why Ziegler didn't think he, and that's the duplicitousness. It's not duplicitous like Mark is fake, because there's nothing fake about Mark. And that's why I said in the previous question, just say to Tom, you want to run it? Be in the building. But if you don't want to, make it clear to everyone else from Spy Tech on down, this is my chain of command.
Right.
Whoever that person is, they determine our true north. But I want to make this clear. If I thought Mark Davis was the problem, I'm man enough to say it. You hear my conversations privately. You go to the owners' meetings with me when not into the actual meetings, but the dinners, and you're with me. You know who we talk to. Am I being disingenuous, or do I not always defend Mark?
Oh, always.
And do the people that we talk to not defend Mark?
Oh.
I'm telling you, if there was a feeling around the NFL, people feel bad for Mark.
Yep.
Just texts I got today, they feel bad for him. But I just think Mark needs to make a definitive clear. And if I'm Mark, I come out at my next introductory press conference. If they fire Pete, this is my chain of command. And if they keep Pete, he doesn't have to do a press conference, just at the next owners meeting when he talks to the media, saying, I want to make this clear to everybody. Mm-hmm. This guy is our true north.
Exactly.
So anything that happens, blame him. Pull a Pontius Pilate. I don't mean that in any way negative about, but I mean the washing of the hands. Then everybody knows.
Right.
But right now it's he said, we said, you said, could said. It's just the dysfunction. And I'm going to go back to the McDaniels Ziegler time, share more, and share a lot from AP that I didn't share to explain to you what this dysfunction is. I'm hoping that I don't have to. I don't want to write this stuff, but it's legit. And it will put things in perspective to you, just where the dysfunction is and how to fix it. And again, Mark doesn't owe that to me. If he doesn't want to talk to the media, then do one of those Raider podcasts that the team does and have him say, I have him just do a speech into the camera. Hey, we've lost for too long when our motto is just win. Here is our true north. This is the person in charge. Until I say differently, that's our true north. See you in a couple of years. God bless you. And walk away.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it's not Mark. Now, do I think Mark should fix this? Absolutely. Do I think some of it is the process of learning to be an owner? Sure. Sure. And if they fire Pete and I go back and explain the Josh McDaniels, Dave Ziegler era with you, you're going to understand what I meant by that. And you're going to see why there's been some dysfunction, but it's not hard to fix. But there isn't one franchise in the NFL right now that's winning that we don't know who True North is.
Right.
Let me use the Detroit Lions for an example, because I think right now they're one of the best run franchises. Or you can use, and I know this, it's only because I don't want to use Kansas City because Raider Nation and you hate the Chiefs. Okay. Everybody knows Brad Holmes is 100% in charge of where the Lions are going. But he has empowered Dan Campbell. Dan, this is where I want to go. Great. I'll get you there. Dan drives the bus. Campbell gets him the gasoline. He listens to Dan. When Dan says, hey, listen, Brad, I really want this. Remember when they had a great running game and then still went out and take a running back? Why? Because Dan's like, I need this. And because he had built a trusting relationship, everyone mocked the Lions for that pick. And it turned out to be the right pick.
Mm-hmm.
And so you look at Andy Reid and the Chiefs. Yeah, they're struggling this year, but they won the AFC West 9 years in a row. Why? General manager, Andy, this is how I want to do it. I'm hiring you. Great. Andy Reid, hey, what are you thinking? Well, I'm thinking this. Okay, great. Andy gives input. Okay, yeah, we're going to do that. Sometimes, no, I don't want to do that. I want to go here. We're going to follow my gut. Okay, there's the trust factor. You got to get there, and you're not going to get there changing stuff.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like people, yeah, we'll just leave it there. But anyways, you see what I'm saying? That's what they need. And so I want to make it clear. The reason I start with Tom Brady, do you want to run it? Because I'm not against Tom. Am I against Tom?
Nope.
No. Tom is a world-class father and the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. Comes from an amazing family. There are a lot of things about Tom Brady to think, okay, he's done, he can do this. But Tom Brady has never been great at anything. Well, I'm going to rephrase that because I don't know him intimately, but nobody's great at anything that you're not all in on.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have a great marriage if you're still dating other people.
There you go.
You can't be a great dad if you're not present. And so that's why I start every conversation with Tom. Do you want to run it? Because obviously Mark believes in him. You let him buy a chunk of his team. You want to run it? Great. I'll let you. But you got to be in the building.
Mm-hmm.
And to his credit, Vinny Bonsignor and I were talking about this the other day from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, my buddy, wonderful guy. We absolutely compete, but we're good friends. Vinny said this because when I said this the other day, I was joking with him that some of the response I got, and he goes, well, I said this, like evidently he said it a couple days before I did. And he told me, he goes, I said that too. I guess him and Adam both said it. And it's true. And around the NFL, people are like, if Tom wants to run it, run it. If you don't, stay out.
Mm-hmm.
Stay out. But you either run it or you don't run it.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. I don't even know how we got to Tom there. Oh, I do because of the question. Let's get to the next. Let's hurry up.
Hey, Hondo, I was hoping to get your insight on how the organization views their fans. I'd argue that a majority of Raider Nation are extremely football intelligent if the organization would explain their vision and we saw that vision being put on film. We could handle yet another losing season. However, it currently seems like there is no vision being cast at all. As the owner of multiple businesses, you well know that nothing sows apathy as effectively as dysfunction. My question is, do you feel that the Raiders organization understands how legitimately close they are to losing one of the most fiercely loyal fan bases in the NFL? Thank you for your work as always and have a great Christmas. Chris R. in Baltimore, Maryland.
Ooh, that's a good one, Chris. So let me explain this. And every time I say good things about Mark Davis, people are like, "Oh yeah, Hondo says it because he has to keep his credentials." As long as I'm not attacking him on a personal basis, I'm not losing my credentials. I'm a professional, and you know me well, better than anybody. I'm
You wouldn't do that anyways.
That's not who I am. But I'm also not going to lie to these people. I have too much. Why do you guys think 3 or 4 times a week when people email, I'll just send them a note. Send me your number. I'll call you. Don't I?
You
And
do.
people are always like, I can't believe you call me. Well, I keep telling you people, you are ultimately my bosses. Now, if you call and ask me to call you, I'm not going to. But I do it because I don't mind talking to you. I mean, you guys are the ones, you're my bosses. I think we got somebody who wants to say hi to you. Bring them over here. Come here. Come here. You want to say hi to Raider Nation? Turn over here. Look at them. All right. All right. Get out of here so mommy and I can finish. Get out of here, Grinch. He's wearing his Grinch clothes today. All right. Get out of here, Grinch. All right. So, what was the question? Oh, do they understand the fans? All right. So, let me go on and just say this real quick to you. I don't think there is an owner in the NFL who connects and understands his fans better than Mark. Now, what I'm about to tell you is purely Hondo opinion.
Okay.
I think Mark feels like crap that his franchise hasn't won.
Oh yeah.
I do.
Sure.
I think he feels like crap about it.
Of course he does.
Listen, the guy's rolling in more money than he ever had. So I had someone say to me one time, "Oh, he's like Scrooge McDuck," who I don't know who that was, but I think they were playing off of like Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah. That's what
I don't know why they would say McDuck and not just say Scrooge. But anyways, he's like Scrooge McDuck. He's bathing in his gold. No, you don't know Mark. Mark is about the most unimpressed with his money. I'm just going to say the guy's a multi-billionaire and still flies Southwest Airlines. When all the other owners fly private jets. I will never forget. Well, it doesn't matter, but I was asked. Okay. But, anyways, that's Mark. He doesn't walk around with 32 bodyguards to impress everybody. He's not, it's just not him. Mark relates to his fans. And I'm going to guess this. I think there's a part that he's embarrassed that this team hasn't won.
Probably.
And I also think that he's gotten bad advice throughout the years and he needs true north. And for example, the owner of the Ravens told Ozzie Newsome, who in my opinion is the most underrated general manager of all time, Ozzie, you're my true north. Get me there. Okay. Rightly or obviously rightly, Bob Kraft told that to Bill Belichick, who hasn't done well at North Carolina, but nobody's going to argue what he did with the Patriots.
Right.
You've got to set true north. And you got to trust somebody. John Gruden, the season before he got fired, people were mad, wanted him fired. Then he comes into his next year. The Raiders are winning. The email scandal. Mark had a 10-year deal. He knew who his true north was.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that if had the emails not come out, Gruden still would be coaching today. And so what I would say to you is, I think Mark has a lot of respect. And I know that the fans, I don't necessarily think everybody in the organization has as much appreciation of the fans as Mark, but Mark grew up one of you.
Right.
And that's not a slam on anybody. Do I think John Spytek loves the fan base as much as Mark Davis? No. He's only been here a few months. Do I think John Spytek respects the fans? Sure, I do. Do I think Tom Brady respects the fans? Sure, I do. But do I think that everybody, just like a new writer coming in, I don't think they have the respect for Raider Nation that maybe somebody like me or Vinny has, because we've done it so long and we've got to meet you and know you.
Right.
It isn't a disrespect thing. But you got to set true north. All right, let's keep going. Do you feel like I answered that? Because
Yes.
I asked Shannon that question because it's important to me that you guys at least feel like I heard you and I answered you. There you go.
Hondo, I hope this email finds you and your beautiful family well. I have a question for you. We all know that the current Raiders team is not performing well for several reasons. If the Raiders decide to fire Pete Carroll, will they finally consider coaches from Sean McVay's coaching tree for their new head coach? Thank you, Michael B. from Charlotte, North Carolina.
I would think if they could have a coach from the Sean McVay coaching tree who that I think I would think that would be wise.
Hmm.
If I'm firing Pete, which I would not, I'm going with Gru. And if I went with Gru would take the job.
For sure.
But if for whatever reason Mark decides I don't want to go with Gru, this was, you know, I'll just leave it there. Yeah, I totally think that would be wise to look at somebody in that vein, for sure.
Okay. Uncle Hondo, as you've related dozens of times, someone you respect evaluated his team staff at the end of the year by asking how many other teams are trying to hire any given assistant.
Yep.
If the answer is none, then he would say, why are we keeping him? How many teams are going to try to hire Brendan Carroll away from the Raiders? If the answer is none, isn't it incumbent on the Pete to upgrade? Castor V. Raider Nation for Life in Ogden, Utah.
That is a great question.
Super
And I
good
think
question.
it's totally fair. So let me say this to you. It's an absolutely fair question. I think it's a good question. And I want to tell you, I've actually been working on this because there was a lot of angst about Brendan Carroll. And I had told you guys when Pete first got, I kept telling you before they hired him, he's going to bring his kids with him. And I told you I did my research and I asked people about Brendan Carroll, and tremendous respect. And recently, when I changed my opinion to I wouldn't fire Pete, and I don't think he's on the hot seat, to yeah, I think he is on the hot seat and probably on his way out. I asked some people, do you think this has hurt Brennan? And I can tell you unequivocally, he would absolutely have a job next year. Unequivocally, Brennan would. Because I talk to people that go, yeah, I'd hire him. I'm not going to blame him for what gone, because people around the NFL know what's happening. And unequivocally, he would have a job next year. Now, whether he would want one, because I think he got a 2-year deal. He may say, oh, I'm going to sit out a year, but he would absolutely have job opportunities. I know that factually. Factually. And I asked several people about several coaches in this group. This is a really good staff. The problem here is not the staff. I don't even think Chip was the problem. I really like Chip here. But when you've got Chip kind of running his own offense and Pete kind of trying to defense, but kind of no. If they would have said, dude, if Pete would have said, I want Chip Kelly, and Chip, this is what I want, I don't think Chip was the problem. How many times during training camp did I, and of course I gave you details that I can't get again, but did I say to you, oh, Shannon, and I would tell her things that the offense was doing in practice, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to see it. And then they won the Patriots game, and I remember telling all of you, and 95% of what we saw this offseason, we haven't even seen it yet. Then the next week, I don't remember who they play, and they got beat, and it was bad. And I remember Shannon sending me a text, where is this, and this, things I told her about. And I'm like,
I don't know.
I don't know. So yeah, I don't even think Chip was the problem.
Right.
All right, let's keep going. But yes, I know that factually because I asked about him and several coaches. And lot of respect. Lot of respect. So there you go.
Hanging by a thread in Merced, California. I have two.
That's his name, hanging by a thread. Now, better have be a real name.
No. It is. It's the Greg with the double G C.
How
He's back.
you
This
must
is
be a
the
really
third time in a row.
you must be a good writer because that's the third time.
Yeah.
You made 3 of these in a row, double G, Greg.
I have two questions for you, but first, I am at the podium with the first pick in the 2026 NFL draft. The mighty Las Vegas Raiders select, dramatic pause, quarterback, Indiana, Fernando Mendoza. Question number one, Gruden, quarterback coach? Why not? Successor? Why not? Question number two, ask Mr. Mark Davis to send me a Cuban cigar. This is it, Mr. Spytech. Just make it happen.
Well, first of all, like I said, Gruden shouldn't be the coach if they fire Pete, which I'm not advocating for.
Yeah.
Listen, folks, if I was only about clicks, I would go after Pete. But there ain't nothing to go after. I understand you're frustrated. Didn't Hondo tell us why? I'm giving you a lot of answers why. And if they let him go, I'm gonna give you a lot more. But my what I'm trying to say to you is very simple. If you're going to pick a quarterback in this draft, Fernando Mendoza is the most ready. I still think you need a veteran to bring him along.
Mm.
It is, unless a guy is an absolute, I mean, not even with a first round grade. I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers set for years. Look at Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys were all good, but none of them were can't miss guys, even though they're both Hall of Famers. When they came out, they weren't can't miss. And you need a veteran. That's why I said, can you imagine if they just said to Derek, listen, we want you to come back for 1-year deal. And you're probably going to lose your job in the middle of the year. But we want you to groom Fernando Mendoza. There is no better human being than Derek. I don't care if they say, no, we're paying tens of millions of dollars to Gino. Gino's going to, great. I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
I'm just saying if they just decide we're getting rid of Gino, I would save the money. But my point to you is that Fernando Mendoza right now, according to everyone I talk, and there's still a long way to go, so this can change. A lot of people like Dante Moore, but they think he needs another year in college. They just think do whatever you can, get another year. But a lot of people like Dante Moore. I know the Raiders really like him. There's a lot of guys that like Ty Simpson, but they think of him as a late first round guy. They think of Fernando as a high first round guy. And they think of Dante a kind of high, that 12 to 20 range.
Right.
So there you go. And, but again, I'm not advocating for the firing of Pete. But if you do, if they're convinced, hey, we think that we can get a better quarterback in 27, and you trade that pick, here's the whole point. Doesn't matter what Hondo thinks, doesn't matter what anybody in the NFL thinks. It matters what whoever is true north in the Raiders thinks. Mm-hmm. But I've been telling you since before the season started, Fernando Mendoza, a lot of you, I literally got emails from you guys laughing at me. Why do we want a nobody from Indiana? Now the guy looks like he's going to win the Heisman. That's why I get paid to do what I do. And I'm telling you, and I reserve the right to change this. But everybody I'm talking to in the NFL, everybody's talking about Fernando. And again, Combine's going to tell a lot. Interviews are going to tell a lot. But Mr. Mendoza, I think he could even benefit from another year in college. But, I mean, a lot of people think if he goes back to school, he has a chance to fix a couple things and came out as a can't miss. I had one guy tell me today, he said, I don't think he's a can't miss, but I think he's clearly a first round value and the first quarterback taken.
Mm.
He goes, but with a year, and he goes, with the upgrade in 1 year under Cignetti, he goes, I think he could come out in Andrew Luck next year.
Wow.
He goes, I wouldn't start him next year if I'm the Raiders. I get a really good guy to groom him that understands you are grooming him to take your job.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Hondo, thanks for your level headed approach to covering the Raiders. It's nice to listen and not hear someone ranting for once. I want Pete and John to stay. They need to stop the constant coaching GM turnover. It always leads to roster changes and sets teams back, especially with roster depth. You often say the Raiders is not a team for a first time head coach, but what makes the GM spot any different? I realize Spy has been involved with team building, but it's his first time in the chair. No one has ever been a head coach without some kind of a coaching or coordinator experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, what makes the GM spot any different? Thanks.
So, first of all, I think you're absolutely fair. And I addressed this when they hired Spytech. When you know Brady's voice is enormous, then getting Spytech, who him and Brady already have a relationship, is why, okay, I can see where that works.
Mm-hmm.
I would not, I would have said to Tom, if I'm Mark Davis, if Tom would, oh, you want to be general manager? Great. I don't have a problem with that. I have zero. Everyone thinks, why does Hunter not like? I do like Tom. I had someone say to me this week, you just don't like Tom because he's a Wolverine. I said, first of all, I like Tom.
Right.
I like Tom. But if you want to run it or you want to have the enormous voice, be in the building. And if you're going to let him have an enormous voice and not be in the building, that GM has to be able to have a relationship with Tom. So I have no issue with the Spytech thing. Listen, I think John Spy, if I was the manager, if I was the owner of the Jaguars, if I was the owner of the Cardinals, if I was the owner of multiple teams, I'd have hired John Spytech as my general manager in a second. But they didn't have to let Tom Telesco go if you want to let your general manager run it. And Dave, yeah, whatever. So let's keep going. Did I answer that question effectively?
I believe so.
Okay.
Hondo, I listened to everything that you say. So when you recently addressed the rumors out there and talked and said you believed Pete was rightly or wrongly on the hot seat, excuse me, I put two and two together. Do you have any faith that the Raiders will get this right? Thomas from San Antonio.
I don't know what he means by get it right. So let me just say this. I'm going to tell you how I interpret your question. And if I interpret it wrong, then feel free to email back in. And so let me do this. The way I interpret your question is, do I have any faith that the Raiders will get this fixed and get the team on track to winning? Okay. They have a over 20-year track record of not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not my job to have faith in that.
Right.
My job is to be analytical. And analytically, the answer is I don't expect them to because they haven't proven yet that they can. Do I hope they do? Of course I do. My wife's a fan of the team. I cover the team. Me and some of the other B writers were talking recently. We want to cover this team when it's winning.
Right.
We don't like writing negative stuff. You know, someone from the team recently was not in any way being rude or wrong. I'm not in any way portraying them as being inappropriate.
Okay.
That basically just talked about the media is always negative. To which I said, give us something good to write about.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Get Bueller. And so it's not my job to have faith in that. I hope they do. I'm going to tell you right now, I know a few owners in this league. Mark Davis is in my top four. Yeah, top four of my favorite owners, and he may be number one. I just love his heart. Mark's got a he he is a good guy. And you know how much I
Mm-hmm.
genuinely I defend him. And I want them to for no even though my wife is a fan, I want them to for Mark.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to for Mark. And boy, it's a tough sell right now. It's a tough sell right now. Because the track record and and I'm a person that says the past is indicative of the future.
Right.
And we're right back here. I mean, I was joking about this with a couple of my colleagues in the media. Last year, when they finally hired Pete Carroll, after the press conference, we're all in the back in the workroom working, and we all joked, thank God next year we can actually plan a vacation when the season's over. We were 5 weeks into the year, and someone in the media room yells out, "Hey, remember when we were talking about?"
No vacation for you.
And yeah, so and if you go hire a first time coach or an unproven coach, don't plan a vacation next year either. So now they may say, hey, if we go pick a first round quarterback and we start him game one, then we at least buy our guy 2 years. So you're into it and find out you don't like this guy, but you're going to keep him just to say, see, we oh, there you go. So again, it's not my job to have faith. Do I hope so? Of course I do. These are good people. Do you think people in the organization like it when they get laughed at by their neighbors?
Yeah.
Do you think their families like to read some of the stuff that's out there? I mean, I know how mad our children get when they read stuff people say to me. So, no, they don't like it. They're not enjoying this. And I don't care if you think Mark's sitting there counting his billions and doesn't care. He cares.
Right.
All right, let's go. Let's keep going.
Hondo, what are you hearing on a first round quarterback? Wade from Ocala, Florida. I think you pretty much already answered that.
Yeah, real quick. I mean, there are three that people are talking about: Mendoza, Dante Moore, Ty Simpson. I think a lot of people think like Simpson and a lot of people think all three, if they got picked, need to be developed. Mendoza less than anyone. Everybody I'm talking to has Mendoza number one. It's not even close. Every single person, and they think he's a first round
Mm-hmm.
pick. Nobody thinks he's a can't miss, but they all think he is worth a top pick in the draft. I've not heard that for Dante Moore or Ty Simpson, but they like them both, like their skill sets. But so that's what I'm hearing. Now I'm hearing some other guys later in the draft. I mentioned this the other day. I had probably the person I respect most, that I respect the very most in the world on rating NFL quarterbacks, tell me there may have never been more talent in college football for future NFL quarterbacks than there is right now. But he goes, none of them are ready to come in and start.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty tough. But
Mm-hmm.
but he said there's never been more talent right now for quarterback ever.
Wow.
And this guy's been, and you know who my guy is. Never been this much talent in college ever, ever. He thinks right now there could be as many as 20 to 22 starting quarterbacks in college football right now.
Wow.
Just
Amazing.
not ready, just various degrees of development. All right, let's
Right.
keep going.
Hi, Hondo. I really enjoyed your preview of free agents that the Raiders may be interested in. My question is at the wide receiver. Did you skip over that position because there are no good free agents available, or do you not think the Raiders need to upgrade this position? Thank you. Tom. Oh gosh. For Tom, U from Mechanicsburg, PA.
Tom, you great question. I wondered if anyone notices. I absolutely did skip over the wide receivers intentionally because we don't know the offense they're going to run. And I didn't want to talk about some specific wide receivers because we don't know what offense they're going to run. Once we know the offense they're going to run, I will talk about wide receivers for sure.
All right.
But there's no reason to give you names only to go in a certain direction and they don't work.
Hondo, as you know, I've emailed you before, and on one of the Raiders players is my neighbor.
Oh yeah, I know.
He laughs when you read my emails, but when Jacoby was traded, he told me that Pete and the team didn't want that. It was the guy upstairs. He told me to ask you, so I am. Who are the guys upstairs? And is it true the team, meaning the players like my neighbor, and Pete did not want him traded? He also said you deserve respect for your shoe game and all your Jordans. Name withheld. I need to take a picture of his shoe game and show you.
No, you don't. You don't need to. So
We built a closet for his shoe game for Father's Day last year.
now let me just say something to you. Shannon is very good to me, and Shannon has me on a thing where I get one new pair of Jordans every month. And I know I appreciate that's a wonderful gift from Shannon. Stop. I'm giving you credit. Okay. So I get one new pair of Jordans every month. So I wear my Jordans for 1 month and then they go in the closet and I wear my next pair of Jordans for a month. And I've got my January and February Jordans that have already come in. So I get one pair of Jordans a month. That is my gift every year from Shannon, and I'm greatly appreciative of that. So, by the way, this player always teases me because, and what happened was, is the first time this guy emailed me, he sent me a picture of him and this player. So I went to this player and I said, "Hey, you just need to know your neighbor's emailing me, and I'm not going to read his email." He goes, "Oh no, no, no! I told him to." He goes, "Just don't use his name." I'm like, "All right, all right." So yeah, he told me, he goes, I told him to go after you for your shoe game. So, anyways, yeah, I can tell you this: Pete did not want to trade Jacoby, and the team. Listen to this: the team wants to see the guys who are good in the locker room, that work hard, that do everything. They want to see, you got to reward your free agents. It's like there was a bunch of people angry Spillane didn't get, Spills didn't get signed. That makes them angry. It's like, listen, why do we play hurt and then not get rewarded? Yeah, I can tell you, and that also came out in Jacksonville. Mm. And I have a great relationship with Jacoby, a great one. Love you, Cobes. Love your fam. Love you guys. Kobe only wanted out once they made it clear we're not signing you. And he's like, "No, I put my name on a contract. I'm showing up and playing every day." And the players saw that. They saw it. Players want their guys. No, they don't want problem guys resign.
Right.
But you come in here and you work and you grind and you be part of the, they know we can win with that guy. Mm-hmm. And you don't do it, pisses off a lot of people. And there were a lot of people very upset. A ton of people. And not just, oh, we're just going to leave it there. There's a lot of people in that building that were pissed when Robert Spillane didn't get signed. And there was a lot of people mad when Kobe didn't get it. Mm-hmm. And there's some guys here this year that are going to be free agents that they're going to want re-signed.
Right, right.
You go out and you, it's like one player said this to me, and I'm paraphrasing, but you go out and grind with me. You go out and work hard with me. You go out and you work as hard as me. And they don't resign you. It's a sign of disrespect. Yeah. Of course, your buddy knew I was, of course, going to tell you that you're being truthful. So, yeah, there you go.
Hi, Hondo. It looks like we were wrong. Lane Kiffin is still the same person Al Davis in Tennessee fired. He has to succeed at LSU because there won't be any other stops on the Lane train. David.
So, David, I'm going to say a couple things here that may not be popular. prior to Ole Miss, I have never been a fan of Lane Kiffin, and you know that.
Mm.
But while at Florida Atlantic, the last year at Florida Atlantic, Lane's life took an entire 180-degree turn. And I'm going to say this to you. I wanted Lane to stay at Ole Miss. Okay. At the same time, I don't blame Lane for leaving because that is the system that we have. Players can walk out and quit, and they do. Now, I didn't like it before when coaches could just leave and players couldn't transfer. But players now have the same as the coaches. So when people say, well, he walked out on his players, I agree. The players could have walked out on him.
Right.
And so where I'm going with this is I don't like the way he left. He should have just left. Should have just left. But I also understand it's the present system we live in. So if you don't like the system, then you change the system. You know, Nick Saban said it best. And you know the respect I have for Nick. Love Nick. Love Nick and Terry. Wonderful people. Nick talked about it isn't leaving because this is the system that we have. If I would love for college to say we're going to push back signing day to March 1. And for them to say you can't enter the transfer portal until the day after the last football game is played, and you can't leave your job for another job till the day after the last game of the season is played and have time in there. This is an easy fix.
Right.
But you can't blame them for leaving when that's the system. That said, I don't like how he left. And I'll just leave it there. I totally agree. I think it was a terrible look the way he left. I think he could have done it a lot of different ways, but because we personally have information on how his life has changed, I'm going to say I don't think this is revealing too much. He was very emotional about wishing his dad was alive. If Monty was alive, I do not believe the new Lane would have handled it. It was not an easy decision for him. And I can't tell you how I know it. So if you don't believe me, that's fine. It was not an easy decision for him. But at the end of the day, I hate the way he left. I think he made himself look terrible. I'm not even pretending that he didn't. He did. I understand. I don't have a problem with him leaving because of the system. I have a problem with how he left. It was horrible. That's on him. But prior to that last year at Florida Atlantic, I am not a Lane Kiffin fan. And I hope he does well at LSU and wish him nothing but, and I hope LSU kills it. And I will root for Ole Miss every time they play Lane. Every time. Because I don't like the way he left. And I would tell him, and I will tell him. But I want Lane to do well. I now after that last year at Florida Atlantic, I want him to do well. But I will always root for Ole Miss because of the way he left. Next.
Hello, Hondo. My name is Bill from Jersey. I watch every one of your videos and sometimes agree with you and sometimes disagree with you, but I still enjoy the content.
Stay right there. That's Bill. Thank you for watching all of them, Bill. We appreciate you. Let's keep going.
On to my question. Why wasn't Geno Smith flipping off Raiders fans made a bigger deal? I understand that fans can say hateful and disgusting things, and I understand the season is going horrible. But I do believe we, the Raider fans, are paying him $66.5 million guaranteed. He brags about getting paid bank and then gives us the finger. I know how I know that people in the building were not happy, but Gino threw gas on a fire, and
Mhm.
Raider fans are much more unhappy.
I agree. If it had been my decision, which it's not, I would have suspended him.
Yeah.
I would have. And I love Gino. I have a great relationship with Gino. I know that Gino will be made aware of this. I would have suspended him. But I don't know what you mean by more of a deal made. I mean, I came out and said it was a dumb move. I don't think he's a dumb person. It was a dumb move. I would have suspended him.
That's what I think he means. Why wasn't there something
But
more done about it?
I have no idea why the franchise did or didn't do what because they didn't think it warranted it.
Yeah,
If,
unfortunately.
and if I'm, again, that's where you have to have a true north.
Yeah. Yeah. For
I mean,
sure.
if I'm Mark Davis, I would have come in and said, how long can I suspend him and not pay him? I mean, your season's already over. So I may have just said, all right, take a seat for 4 games or whatever. I would have. But the point of the matter is, I have no idea why internally they didn't. But the point is, I know there was a ton of people mad, but they made the decision. Remember, it's not my job to tell the Raiders how to run the Raiders. My job as a reporter is to analyze what's going on and give you the analyzation. Now, when I'm asked an opinion like this, I'll tell you, I would have suspended him. And I like Gino.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have said to him, Gino, listen, I love you. I think you're a great guy who did something really dumb, but you can't flip off our fans. What are you thinking?
Mm-hmm.
So I would have, I don't know the rules there. How long can I suspend him without pay? And I probably would have suspended him without pay. And if longer than what the rules were, and then let him go through the NFL appeal process and just say, listen, I'm going to suspend you this long without pay. If it's longer than the rules will let me. So I'll reach out if and find out from someone tonight how long they can do it. It doesn't help you now. But and I know you're going to appeal. We love you. You're coming back. We'll go through the appeal. Probably is mute because we have a collective bargaining agreement.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm doing it. Even if I end up having to pay, I'm going to pay you. And we're bringing you back. But you just can't do it. Just can't do it.
Right.
All right, let's keep going. Our little buddy who you saw earlier in the video is right over here so badly trying to get back on camera, trying to get us to notice him. We're going to choose not to. Let's keep going. Are we close to done?
We're just over halfway. We're about 3/4 of the way.
Right, we got to hurry now.
Hello, Uncle Hondo and Aunt Shannon. I got myself a copy of Take Your Eye Off the Ball.
Oh,
I remember hearing
great
about
book.
it in one of your videos, and I feel much more enlightened about football. I have a better understanding regarding how off-season programs work and what goes on from week to week. That's not on the field. That's just some of it. When you speak about different topics, I feel like I have a deeper understanding of what you're saying based on this book. Many thanks for the recommendation. I did want to ask about something that you have been discussing about Pete and giving him the vast responsibility of steering the Raiders ship. The book talks about him doing this with Seattle, whereas in New England, his power was divided and he didn't have as much success. Wasn't the whole point of getting an experienced coach like Pete paired with a first time general manager like Spytek to let Pete lead the way from a coaching and personnel standpoint until Spytek got in his feet under him, like John Schneider did in Seattle? Many thanks.
Read that last part again. Wasn't the point. Just read that one line. I'm just going to give a one-word answer. Wasn't the point.
Wasn't the whole point of getting an experienced coach like Pete paired with a first time general manager like Spytek to let Pete lead the way from a coaching and personal standpoint?
Stop right there. Evidently not. Because if that was the point, that's what would have happened. And what's the name of the book?
Take your eye off the ball.
Highly recommended to every football fan. Go buy the book. Take your eye off the ball. It is the greatest football book ever written. If you want to know what to buy the football fan in your life, go buy them the book. Take your eye off the ball. I even think you can buy it with a DVD. Go Get the book. Take your eye off the best football book ever written. It is the equivalent to a football Bible.
All right.
The best book ever written. Take your eye off the ball. That's not true. Best football book ever written. Keep going.
Hey, Hando, Lee from Tennessee
Hi,
here.
Lee.
We all know this season has been a disaster, and you advocate for keeping Pete Carroll around for another season. I understand that everyone has bosses, but Pete is the head coach. Did Pete want to keep Tom McMahon?
Next one.
Why would you allow Pete Carroll to buy the groceries, so to speak, given how he has handled this season as head coach of the Raiders? I wish you and your family the best. Thanks, Jeffrey from Muscatine.
Because he hasn't been able to buy the groceries. If they would have let him buy the groceries this year, I'd be like, yeah, Pete.
We'd be eating at a smorgasbord.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say that, but they would
Why, it'd be a
they
lot
would not be
different.
where they are. I would if
It
he
might feel like a smorgasbord to us fans.
okay. But no, because he hasn't been allowed to this year. Next. Oh, we're getting some speed. Let's go.
Yeah. Reports have emerged that Tom Brady made the call to hire Chip Kelly. We also know that he has heavy influence on who the quarterback is. 2/3 of our coordinators have been fired in the last 3 weeks, and Gino has played poorly. It makes many of us wonder how much control Tom Brady has and if it is a mistake. He's arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, in large part to his legendary competitive drive that doesn't always translate well to ownership. Michael Jordan might be Tom Brady's basketball comparison in more ways than one. And Jordan's been disastrous as an owner. Interviews from people who know him say that MJ's obstacle is that his dominance playing the game intimidates people from disagreeing with him. Those who challenge what he thinks also don't seem to stay in his circle for long. Perhaps it's an unfair comparison to make, but I have to ask, do you see something similar unfolding with Tom Brady and the Raiders? Is Tom Brady calling the shots? And if so, are the people around him comfortable disagreeing with him? Thank you and God bless you. Brenton in Portland, Oregon. Great question.
Okay, so I think he asked me in the beginning, was it a mistake?
Yes.
And here's what I would say to you. First of all, I don't think it's fair to judge him by Jordan because Jordan came in and everybody knew he was the boss.
Okay.
Tom's come in and kind of stayed in the shadows.
Okay.
Okay, number one. Number two, I don't think it's fair because he hasn't had as much time as Jordan.
Okay.
That's not fair. He's only been an owner for 1 year. I mean, why would I sit here and say that Mark Davis deserves grace when he's been an owner for 20 years and Brady's been an owner for one? What I would say is this. I have zero problem if Mark Davis says to Tom, do you want to run it? You want to run it? You do? Great. Got to be in the building.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm not the only beat writer saying it. You got to be in the building. Because whether it is true or not, there are people in the building saying, oh, I wonder what Tom's going to think of this. You can't lead an organization with people wondering, what is Tom going to think? Okay. Shannon and I have I believe, a great marriage. Is that fair or unfair?
Fair.
Okay. We have different responsibilities in our marriage. I travel a lot. So there are things that Shannon handles in our marriage that maybe other wives don't. There are things that I handle that maybe other husbands don't. We both know, okay, this is your lane. This is my lane. She doesn't try to tell me how to do what's in my lane. I don't try to tell you what to do what's in your lane. And so I just think you clearly have to define lanes. You can't have your offensive coordinator telling your defensive guy how to run a defense. You can't have your defensive coordinator trying to tell the offensive coordinator how to run an offense. You got to have your head. Everyone's got to have a lane. And right now, whether Mark thinks they do or not, because Mark's not a liar. And when Mark told Tashawn that that Dave Ziegler should have known he was the boss. If they fire Pete, I'm going to tell you why Dave didn't believe that. But I don't think Mark lied. I think Mark really believed it. Mark is a genuine, sincere person. But Whether they think the lanes are established, they're not. And I think people need to show some grace. I mean, a lot of Raider Nation doesn't care for Tom because he's a Patriot and the Tuck rule and all that kind of stuff. But the reality is, he's yours now. He's yours. Whether you like it or not, he's yours. And that's where I think it's unfair to say. I think he said he failed or whatever. He may have had a bad first year, but
No, he said that his comparison fails. Do we compare?
okay, yeah. I just
MJ
okay.
did.
MJ failed completely. We both all know that. I would say this: it has been a very bad couple of years, and but I would go in a little bit different direction, and I would say to you that I would say to you that I'm not willing to throw Brady out. I'm the one saying if he wants to run it, let him run it. But if you don't want to run it, you ain't running it. You in, you out. You can be an owner and not be in as the guy running it. And then maybe one day you're tired of working at Fox and you want to run it. Great. If we're not succeeding, then we'll let you. Next.
Not football.
Oh, da 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 da. This next question is our final question, and it has nothing to do with football. So if you don't want to watch a non-football question, you do not have the right to bitch, moan, complain, or in any way be a pain in the butt. Turn off your computer now. However, if you want to listen, thanks. Next.
Hondo and Shannon, I know that you lost a daughter, and my neighbor.
Whoa, 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 whoa. She's now lost. Our little girl may not be on this earth anymore, but someone who's lost, you don't know where they are. And she loved the Lord. We know right where she is. She may not be able to sit there and open Christmas presents this year, but don't you dare lie to us and say our daughter's lost, because she's not lost. We will see her again because we share a faith in Jesus, and we know we don't grieve like the world. I just got to correct that because people say that to us. We didn't lose a daughter. We know right where she is. Thank you, Lord.
My neighbor just lost a son. I was telling them how the two of you seem to handle it so incredibly well. Any advice on how we can help them through this terrible time? Praying for you, Mike and Adeline in SoCal.
Well, first of all, Mike and Adeline, thank you. The fact that you're praying for us tells us that you must be people of faith as well. And we tell everyone, our daughter was an adult. She was old enough to make a decision for Christ, and she did. If they are people who raise their daughter, or is it a son or daughter?
Son.
Was their son, and he was a Christ follower, that they need to understand he's not lost. And if they're unsure, and they raised him to be a godly young man, then they know the Bible says he who began a good work in you is faithful to complete it, and they need to take hope in that. And if they don't know, you have no idea what happened. There could have been a moment in his life that he did repent and that they don't know about. But what I would say is every parent needs to take, and if you've lost a child, maybe when they were little, you need to take hope that if they're a child that died when they were young and not old enough to make a decision for Christ, you know right where they are. They're not lost. And you can make a decision to follow the Lord as well and know them. So encourage them with that. Encourage them with that. That's why Paul says we don't grieve like the world.
Right.
Dude, listen, on Christmas Day or whatever day we get with our kids and we open presents, will we look at Marissa's stocking and think, man, I wish Marissa was here to open this. You better believe we will. Do we talk about Marissa every single day? You better believe we every day.
Mm-hmm.
But I also can tell you, Paul says we don't grieve like the world that has no hope. And a lot of people don't ever take time to think about what kind of legacy are you leaving your kids? If you're a parent watching this, what kind of legacy are you leaving for your kids? Dads, do you serve the Lord? Do you take your family to church? Do you read the Bible with them? Do you pray with them? Do you walk up to your kids and say, hey, listen, I did this wrong. And you know what? Lord wasn't happy with what I did. I made a poor choice. I want you to know I asked the Lord to forgive me, but do you forgive me? Do they see you grab mom's hands and pray with mom? You know, Dexter
Mm-hmm.
every day watches mom and dad pray. So I challenge you, parents, think about the legacy with your children. Think about that. What is your legacy with your kids? Have you lived your walk? You know, one thing that we pray every day is, Lord, we don't want our kids to put us on a pedestal. Let them see us fail. That way, when we fail, they don't blame God. We ask them to follow Christ as we follow Christ. And when we fail Christ, we ask each other to forgive us and we ask Him to forgive us. But parents, think about that. Hopefully, and this is the way it should work, you'll die before your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Leave them a legacy. Hey, I'll see you again. My dad used to always say to us, y'all remember I'm serving the Lord because I expect to see you again. And listen, the day I die and I close my eyes and open them up the next time, I can't wait to hug my dad. It's not fake. It's real. So you know what you do? You love them. And if the people don't know Christ, share the Lord with them. Love them. You know what? The best preaching anyone will ever hear who's not a Christ follower is you acting like Christ.
Mm.
I heard it said one time, the best Bible anyone reads is you. Are you a good example? Are you a reflection? The Bible says we were created in the image of God. We're created to be imagers. If your neighbors, if you claim to be a Christ follower, all of you out there who are listening that are people of faith, and I asked your neighbors, is this person a Christian? Would they say you are? Or would they say, oh, yeah, they are? My dad used to say this to us every day. We get ready to go to school. Don't act like a Christian.
Be one.
Be one. That's what I would say. You know why a lot of people don't want anything to do with God? Because they're tired of people that claim they are and don't live it. Don't act like a Christian. Be one. That doesn't mean you're perfect. There's only one who's perfect. It just means when you're not, take responsibility. Remember, the best Bible anyone will ever read is you. Don't act like a Christian. Be one. Thanks, everybody. God bless you. See you next week.